All right, I am streaming. And I have no idea if this is actually working good. Yeah, not bad. It says excellent condition, so excellent connection. All right. Hi guys, Encore MPW and BitRot 42. How you guys doing? I have to wear this headset because I don't have a microphone, so it's kind of annoying, but we're gonna try to get through it. I figured instead of making a video, I'd just go live on this and see what kind of progress we can make. I set up my harness last night actually, late last night, in preparation for doing this, and I do not have my speakers hooked up, so I can go ahead and do that right quick. Pull that out through here. Okay. Speakers are now hooked up. Hey, KWC Data, how you doing? All right, so I'm going to turn this thing on. And there's quite an annoying sound out of the speakers. Pretty loud hum. And if we pan over to the mic, the monitor, we'll see that there's kind of a whole lot of nothing going on over here. So that's what we're getting. Now we'll kind of move back over this way. Yeah, it's kind of an annoying hum. And yeah. Ooh, this amp is no good. It is fire hot. So we got one bad amp. I'm going to turn it off because that is no good. This amp right here is on fire. So that one is definitely no good. Okay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove that. I mean, it is literally on fire. And it looks like there was some super sloppy work done here. It might not be so bad, but yeah, that needs to be removed. Just cutting it out. And yeah, there's a lot of This is pretty bad. This what they got going on here is pretty bad. As far as trying to doctor up. Trying to doctor up what's going on here on this thing. I'm just going to leave that out for now. And well, let's go ahead and try to clean up a little bit. I'm going to remove the pins. Strange. They put down copper track on the top side for. It's really bad. This got really burnt up. Yeah, this amp was really on fire, and it's really, I don't know if I can show you. I will try. Let me pull up the screen. I'm going to try to show you what I'm looking at here. It's very hacky. And then on the back side, it's also very suspect. So we'll go ahead and get that all cleaned up. Kind of like this amp, this heatsink. We'll get that all cleaned up. Thank you, SEK. Wow. Thank you so much. I had to look at that, and is that real? Yeah, Data. This is it's a mess. It's not that it's fragile. It's just easily destroyed. That's okay. We'll get it squared away. I gotta get this out of here. When you start putting in traces like this, little copper tracks, it's very easy for them to short out. Very easy. For it to cause a problem. There's really no need for doing this. All right. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. I got all the pins out, I believe. So that's the first thing that I guess I decided to do was go ahead and replace this hacked up amp. I'm going to go ahead. I got to get my desoldering gun to try to clean this up. So how is everybody today? This thing's got to warm up for a little bit, so I got a minute to say hi. What's everyone up to? We'll put a socket in here, and we'll doctor it all up and make sure all the traces are good, and make sure everything's connected to what's supposed to be connected. And one thing I need to do is I need to pull up the schematic. Sprint 2. What part of the world are you in, KWC Data? Because I'm in Michigan and we have been getting a little bit of snow. Sweden, nice. All right, let's look for audio. This is not the greatest computer in the world that I'm using for this. Seems to be a bit on the slow side. How much snow did you guys get? Or are you getting? Alright, looks like here's where our amps are going to be. Maybe. Yep. Here's our amps. There's the amps. Oh, that's not too bad. Thank you, whatever. What, WVE? Thank you. There's it, B. Thank you, B. Alright, what's going on here? What's happening here? Hello, Claudio. Claudio, hello. Alright. So let's get to this. We're going to, you know what? Let's do this. This is very herky-jerky, I know. I'm going to go back to this view, and we will try to remove some solder. Just kind of try to clean this up. It's time for a cleaning to my desoldering gun. Goodness gracious, what a mess. What a mess. Sentinel Deluxe. That sounds like a great place to be, Sentinel. That sounds like an awfully great place to be. We are in the process of replacing a extremely hacked up amp, audio amp. Extremely hacked up. This is, I think, the worst I've ever seen. This board is so burnt up over here. It's going to be it's not good. I mean, it is burnt up. It's always easier to just cut these chips out if they fail rather than trying to desolder them. Yes, I agree, Sonny. This is a very fun game. Come on. Hey, Wonko. That is a pretty cool concept. I'm having issues with this this stupid computer. Okay. Now that I've got this kind of cleaned up, this is bad. I think I've got it kind of cleaned up now. I don't even want this copper trace in here. That's an interesting fix, Senley. Ingenuity always is a good thing. Thinking of different ways to fix stuff. Okay, I think I may have this cleaned up enough to move forward. Let me go ahead and pull this up and let's get a look. Kind of got it stripped down. kind of got it stripped down and, you know, just all the nonsense peeled away from it, all that copper trace. This is just going to be kind of a hack job fix, but we'll get it fixed to where it won't be shorted out and it'll actually work. All right. I'm going to grab a 16-pin socket. We'll solder that in as good as we can. And we'll just have to do a lot of trace repair on the back side of this. So let me go ahead and grab one of those. I'll be right back. I got to take this stupid headset off, so it's the only way I can actually talk to you guys. Okay, so let's see. Soldering iron back on, coffee. And you know what, before I do that, I need to just, I kind of want to give it a little bit of a clean. The old toothbrush. Well, that's a pretty darn good find, Wonko. Those boards are not so available, you know. Yeah, it looks like there's a little potential short here. Yeah, get that cleaned up. Very, very hacky job on this. Very, very hacked up. Very, 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 very hacky. So I think now we're ready for our socket. And this might be a, no, it's a 16 pin. Okay. Solder what I can. Okay. So I'd say that that is secure, but now there's a lot of broken traces. So we're going to have to meticulously go through all of these traces and make sure everything's connected. But as far as where we're at, I'm happy with this, the way that this is turning out. We've got our socket in there nicely now. No shorts. So now it's just a matter of connecting all the dots. Yeah, Wonko, that's a really nice find. It's a good find. I'm happy for you. It's a good find. All right. I got to go back to the schematic. This is B9. This is this one right here. Yeah, you can kind of see that. So we got B9. 11 and 9 is our voltage. 11 and 9. This cap, it was probably the, yeah, this is a 0.1, which looks like it was connected to pin 4, no, pin 13. Pin 13. Let's do this. Let's go straight to capture. Pin 13, that's my cap. That's this cap that I've had. And it's connected, that's it right here. 0.1. 1, 14, 15 are ground. What is pin 9? 9 is that's the power rail. 9 and 11. Pin 3 is our input, or that's the output. Pin 3 is, no, that's the input. That's the signal in, and then it's amplified out to here is what it looks like. That's the pot. All right. Pin 2 all the way down. Let's do this again. Let's go back to our camera. Okay. And we're going to do a little just checking traces. It says that pin 2 goes to this, well, pin 1 goes here, and that is not broke. Pin 2 goes here, that's good. 3 goes here, that's good. 4, good. 5, 6. What's 6 do? Pin 6. Pin 6 looks like it's not connected. Okay. 7 goes here. And then 8 goes unconnected. I don't see 8 with a connection. 9 is power, and that's probably not good. 11 is power. 9, 10, 11, and that's not good. So both of our power pins are bad. Pin number 10 is nothing. 12 is our output. 12 and 13 are tied together, and that's broke. 10 and 13 are tied together, and then 13 is tied to that cap, and that's probably broke. Yeah. So I can put that cap back in. I can solder that cap back in to the board. You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to use a new cap. Let me go ahead and grab a 0.1. That way I can take advantage of the lead. I said that way I can take advantage of the leads on the cap. So I have 0.1 here. We'll put that in the board. Get it soldered in. Yeah, suddenly that happens to me here too. When I turn on certain things, my TV will go out. So I have an old school TV here that I watch. It's got a digital box on it, digital converter. And when I turn on certain machines in here, it will go out. The signal will go away. Okay. Now this lead connects to pin 13 and 12. So I'm going to kind of wrap it around. I'm going to kind of wrap it around to 13 and 12. Ideally without shorting anything. Okay, and then let's cut. This is like fine microsurgery right here. Which we as board repairs people often find ourselves doing this microsurgery on this kind of stuff. Okay, that's a pretty good blob. Okay. And now I'm going to take this other part of this lead and I'm going to make my connection on the 20 volt from that. We'll solder this down. Okay, solder that down. Now carefully, very carefully, and try to maneuver that around to pin 11. All right, I think I've accomplished that. Yeah, there's nothing quite like those old tube radios, those old school tube radios for picking up. Those things pick up. They receive so well. They just don't make them like they used to when it comes to that. It's just the truth. 10. 10 was nothing, right? Pin 10 was nothing. Pin 10 is nothing, so I would like to actually remove that pin altogether if possible. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. Yeah, I'm able to. Pin 10 I just completely removed out of circuit because it's not connected to anything. The other one was pin 6. That was not. Pin 6 is not connected whatsoever. But I can't remove that because it's soldered in securely, so I'm not worried about that one. Okay, so we've got. I'm going to go through and re-look at my. This is connected to the power rail. Where is this ground? This is ground. So that is actually these two. Okay, that's 14, 15, and 1. Okay, ground is all good. 9, 10, and 11 is connected to this. Nine, 11. 9 and 11 are connected to that power rail. Good. That's good. 12 and 13 are connected. And that goes to C50 positive of C50. Where is the positive of C50, which is a 1000 microfarad? I think it's that. Yeah, that's not connected. So I need to connect the output. Let's check pin 16. Pin 16 is connected to here. And it is. That's okay. So pin 16 is good. Pin 17 or 7 I'm sure was good. So now the only thing that we've got is our output of 12. The junction of 12 and 13 has to go to the positive of C50. which is going to be, I believe, actually, this I believe is wrong. I think I found why they blew everything up. This one goes to here, and I believe that this junction is supposed to go here. The 20 volts is, I believe, the main, this right here. I believe this is the positive. Yes. Okay. Okay, so this is not correct. I have to redo what rethink what I've done here. Okay. That junction is what goes there. And I need new wire. Let me grab some new wire. All right, well, I just went ahead and grabbed I grabbed an old resistor. I'm going to use a lead from it, possibly. If it'll solder. Ouch. Yeah, no problem. Okay. Yeah, this is the mistake that they made when they did all this hackery, is they hooked something up wrong and it blew everything up. So this goes here. And I almost made the same mistake. All right, now that goes like that. And I do want to make sure that this is not connected in any way. Okay. And those two, this is going to be a little bit tricky. A wee bit tricky. Well, it helps that I removed that pin. Remember, I totally removed pin 10, so I don't have to worry about shorting across pin 10. I can put a little lead right across from 9 to 11 because my 10 is missing. So I don't have to worry about shorting that. So that does make it a little bit easier. So I'll just kind of put a lead across that. Okay. Will this fit down in there, I wonder? I don't think so. Yeah, kind of. Let's see if I can get that to solder like that. Well, this is not pretty. This is not pretty, but I guess as long as it's functional. But it's definitely not pretty. Okay, 10 and 11 are connected. Now I need to connect that to the power rail. And I'm going to do that with a wire going across to the other side. I've usually got all kind of wire laying around on the floor. And I don't think I see any. Here's a wire. We'll use this wire. Connect this from power to power. Okay. Yeah. Just making sure I was on the right screen. Tedious. Very tedious work. Okay. And this goes here. You know what? I need to make this really small. And and we're going to run that right up to the power cap. Is it pretty? No. No, it is not. Will it work? Absolutely. There we go. Now we have power and proper signals to this thing. And it ain't pretty, but I'll show you what it looks like. I will show you what it looks like. So that should take care of that. Should. I say it should. Now this customer did send along audio amps. Hello, Rhett. Yes, yeah, I'm up here in Michigan, and it is nice and cold and a little bit snowy. It's supposed to snow tonight. I heard that we could get half a foot of snow tonight up here, which I'm itching to use my snowblower. I got to be honest. I repaired, I don't know if you saw the video I posted on here where I repaired an old Snow Giant snowblower, and I'm looking forward to using it. But yeah, this thing was completely hacked up. It was terribly hacked. But customer did send along what looks like a new amp. So we're going to plug that baby in. You know what I want to do first is I just want to go around and check. I want to check my my traces according to the schematic. And just make sure everything's looking good. So here is our 20 volts in. That goes to 9 and 11. Perfect. And that shouldn't go anywhere else. I want to make sure I'm not shorted anywhere. Very, very good, very good. Not shorted to the output caps. Okay, good. I think we're good to go. Our ground goes to 1 here and here. And we are not grounded. We're not shorted to ground. I think we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead, plug this baby in. The new amp. I will even take the old heat sink and pop it on. Because I do like that heat sink. It's pretty heavy duty. Now we're going to turn this thing around. We're going to plug it back in. And all of this just to see if we fixed the amp. Okay. Audio amp. Parts. We're in. Okay. And oops. Keep stepping on this wire. I need to get a better solution for going live. I need a I need a microphone to set here, just to like maybe clip it right here on this, just a microphone. Okay, what do you guys think? Place your bets right now. Is our amp fixed? Is our circuit fixed? I'll give you a second to place your bet. All right, in 3, 2, 1. Fixed. This is the amp in question. This is the amp that was not hacked. Fixed. So our amp problems are fixed. Sorry, Peter, you lost your bet. All right, so now we can move on. Now that we got our amp problem fixed, and it's not hotter than Hades anymore either. It's a normal temperature. But more importantly, it works. Okay. So, now why are we getting garbage on the screen? If you remember, we have garbage on the screen. So, I would like to, well, let's just probe around a little bit. You want to? Let's fire this little guy up and probe around. My guess is this thing has bad RAM. My guess is bad RAM. But now I'm happy that we got our audio issues fixed. And to save you guys the mundaneness, I had already checked the voltage. This has a new voltage regulator. It looks like a new old stock, nice LM323K. It's got all new caps, and the voltage is 5 volts right on the nose. So all of our voltages are good. So yeah. Fixed. Okay, so 6502 processor. It's resetting. And you see the scope over here. We're just getting a reset, so more than likely it is RAM issue. It could be ROM, but it's probably RAM. So let's go back. Let's come back to the screen. And let's go up to the RAM. Peter, it's one of those Regal DS1054. It's actually the second one that I've owned. The first one that I owned, I blew it up because my power situation, all my stuff here wasn't properly grounded. And I blew up my my previous Regal DS1054, and they're not super expensive, so I just bought another one, and I went and I properly earth grounded my whole power setup so that this thing wouldn't do that again. So it's very important. Make sure that everything that you're working on, you're hooking up to, make sure everything has a proper ground to earth, a proper ground pin. It's very important to keep these things from blowing up, because I know from experience I blew one up messing around with boards that weren't properly grounded and stuff. Little tip for you there. Okay. Come on, computer, please. Okay. Yeah, I'm too far. I'm about ready to just get I kind of need it anyway, my printout of this manual that I have, because I have notes written on it as far as fluke stuff. And here we go. This is what I was looking for. The 2102, it looks like the output is pin 12. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm going to probe just the outputs. Pin 12 is the output. I can check the stuff here, the address. Make sure the address is good. Just probe around on these RAMs and then probe pin 12 on every one of them. Just kind of see anything. If anything looks like it's just like a dead output or anything like that. That's what I'm going to look for. Okay. Okay, here we go. All right. Data in is pin 11. And data out is 12 on every one of these. Chip enable is 13. That looks good. Read write is 3. That looks good. Plus 5. Address. Let's just check all the addresses. 8, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 1, 16, 15, 14. 2, 1, 16, 15, 14. Addresses look okay. Data out is 12. I'm going to look at pin 12 of every one of these, starting right down here on the bottom. Pin 12. This one is high all the time. Now, it might supposed to be. I don't really know. Maybe it's not supposed to be. It's kind of suspect, isn't it? That one does not look good. That one is kind of a floaty nonsense, garbagey nonsense. So I would say that one's probably no good. That could be okay. I don't like this one. So my initial thoughts are this one, and this one might be bad. This one's high all the time, which it could be okay, but it looks like we might have 3 bad RAM chips. So I'm going to put a red dot on those 3. Just Looks like those three are no good. That's what it looks like to me anyway. So what I could do is I could hook the fluke up to this and perform a RAM test and then just watch the bits on the fluke as I put chips over these. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and remove these 3 RAMs because I'm pretty sure that 2 of them were definitely no good. And then the one that's high all the time is possibly no good. I really don't want to desolder from this board. It's so oxidized and nasty that it's going to be hard to solder, and you risk wrecking traces. So I think instead what I'll do is I'll hook the fluke up to it, and I'll just verify that these RAMs are no good by jumping over them. So let me go ahead and take a second to get all that set up and ready, and we'll go from there. Be right back. Looks like I got a usable socket here. It looks like somebody had replaced the socket. Okay. There. Okay. You know what I am going to have to do? I am going to have to grab my fluke information because I'm not exactly sure what the fluke ranges are on this. So let me do that. Okay. So we have here sprint 2. Oops. Oops, again. Yes, Anthony, I have heard that whatever you're testing should be, but as long as you're sharing the same earth ground on something like this, that's what you're talking about is more with like elevated or floating grounds and stuff like that with circuits that are like that. And that's present in a lot of old tube equipment and stuff like that, but that's not so much present in this type of stuff. Just as long as your oscilloscope and your board under test or whatever are properly grounded, that's really all that matters. But I do know what you're talking about. There's a lot of like using oscilloscopes on equipment that has like virtual grounds or something like that can be dangerous, and you can easily blow up oscilloscopes. But for what I do, this kind of work, that's not really a concern, to be honest. Because I don't work with really high voltage tube equipment. I just don't work with that stuff. So, all right, I need to find. I have fluke information on my printouts here for Sprint 2. At least I think I do. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I do. Here it is. There it is. I knew I had it. All right, let's fire this thing up. Let's fire this up first, shall we? Set up. No. Now let's turn this on. Okay, auto test is good. Let's do our RAM first. Our ROM, I'm sorry. 2000 27FF. And that is DDCF. So that will test our ROMs. Go ahead and test the ROMs and make sure that they're good. First one's okay. And this one is A197. That one's okay. Moving on. And we have 575A. 575A. We're doing some flukage over here. And I didn't hear a beep, so I'm going to say that that one's good. And then next we got 38. And that is... Now this could be one of two files because there's a version 2. And our ROM is kind of unreadable. So I don't know which one it is. I'm going to try version 2 because it seems to be more common. C1DD. We'll see what this does. Yep, it's version 2. So that is that. Now I'm going to go to RAM, and our RAM you can do 0 to 7F. This is why I like to have my... Okay. Bits F5. So all bits on the upper side. Let's try. Okay. F5, that's almost every RAM. That's telling me that almost every RAM is bad. So what I want to do is start jumping over and see if that changes. Okay. Yeah, because to see an F, I'm a little skeptical. It is definitely possible that every one of these RAMs is bad, but it's improbable. So if I start jumping over and I see that F change, then all of the RAMs are apparently bad. So I'm going to loop this test. And I do believe that this is just every freaking RAM is bad. Because it's... Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. That's A. 8. There. Now that F is 0. I jumped 4 RAMs over this bottom line, and that first F went to 0. So every one of these is bad. And I don't have enough RAM to replace this. Unless maybe these aren't all bad. Which ones of these are bad? That one's definitely bad. Still 4. 0. Okay. So I know which RAMs are bad. This one and all of these. Yeah, this first one that I had marked here, that's not even a RAM. The one that was high all the time, remember that? That one wasn't even a RAM. So I want to re-probe these because I probed them wrong. I probed the wrong chips. So I want to re-look at these. And so this whole line is bad, and then these 2 are bad. That's 6, and I've only got 5. So I don't know. I can't. I'm gonna have to buy RAM or something. Pin 12. Yeah, see, that one's floating. That's no good. That one's floating. This one's not floating, but these 2 were no good. That one's not floating. This one's... Interesting. F. Gosh, I almost want to just remove all of these, but I think they're all bad. I really do. I think that there's just 6 bad RAMs in here. So I'm just going to cut them out. I'm not going to bother trying to desolder these. I'm just going to cut those 6 RAMs out of the board. And I only got 5 RAMs, which is a problem. Yeah, Anthony, it's RAM's always an issue. RAM fails more than logic. So I'll go ahead, get this all out of the way. It looks like my ROMs are fine. This is just strictly a RAM issue, and most of the RAM are bad, unfortunately. So, all right, off with you. Off with you. Let me remove the fluke. I've recently purchased a 6809 fluke kit on eBay that I'm building. I need to buy some parts for. But I wanted a 6809 pod. So I was able to, there's a guy in Brazil that's repopping them, and I bought one of his kits. So that'll be nice to have when I eventually get it built. Like I said, I just need to buy some parts for it. It'd be nice for those pesky Taito boards. Okay, be right back. Turn you off. Unplug this. And let's just start clipping these right out of the board. There's no sense when the fluke's telling me that these are all bad. My friend Todd calling me. I'll call him back later. There's no sense in trying to desolder these and ruining the board, damaging the board. When the fluke is telling me that they're bad, I'm just going to clip them out of the board. Saves time. You know what I need to do is I'd like to come up with because these are static RAM. It would be nice to come up with something that I could plug into this board and just use a modern RAM. Would be nice. You know what? I could do that. I could I'd design something like that. Something that would just plug into this board and disperse all of the data bits to where they need to go. Because this is pretty annoying. Yeah, the 2102 sucks, Sonally. These things are always bad. I've had this very game. I've done a Sprint repair, Sprint 2, where I've had to replace every one of these RAMs. It's not unusual. Like I said, I think I would like to measure this out and make a satellite board that plugs in right here. And you just use one RAM chip and have it just disperse all of the data bits to the individual pins where they go. A nice modern RAM chip. Sure would be I think I will do that. I think that would be a good thing for the community. Because there's a lot of these boards out there. And to have something that replace all of these stupid things would be nice. And it'd be simple to do. Simple. As a matter of fact, while I have this board in my possession, I'm going to measure it out so that I can do that. And I'll make a satellite board that will plug in right here, and it'll have one RAM chip on it, and it'll take the place of all 8 of these. Yeah, Anthony, I'm going to do that. I've actually had this idea. I've thought about this before. I've thought about doing this, but I was like, man, I don't really know the measurements because I don't have a sprint board. Well, now I do, so I am going to do that. I'll just add it to my eBay boards that I have. Just little trinkets like this to make things better. Anytime I can see something like that where I can make something better, I like to do it. And that's an upgrade that's really nice. I'm going to go ahead and just resolder the back of all of these so it makes it easier to pull them out. Is there an FPGA plugin for the RAM on here? And it's going to be the first one. That makes sense why this line said 5. Remember the Fluke told me 5? It's because these 2 in the middle are bad. This one's F, so it's all of them. This one was 5, so it was 0, 1, 0, 1. Yes, Anthony. Yeah, most of a lot of stuff is coming out on FPGA. I just don't know how accurate all that stuff is, to be honest. Now this is the boring part, just picking all of these out. Come on. Good fun. Hello, Sony Crockett. Thank you, Sony. I appreciate it. Yeah, it's like these RAMs. I'm going to have to. The good news is there's a lot of these RAMs still out there, so I will be able to restock on some of them, but they're old. They're 40 year. The RAMs are not new. They're 40 years old, and over time, stuff like that it becomes brittle, and even if it's even if it's new old stock, it's still brittle and it's still old. So the better solution is to make something that will plug into this board and use a modern new RAM that will be reliable. You're buying new old stock stuff. A lot of times you're buying new old stock junk. Just it is what it is. Yeah, Sony, that is a big problem. That's why I opted to just cut these RAMs right out of the board, because desoldering these, with these boards being so old and the solder being so oxidized and nasty, it doesn't want to flow, and that's when you start tearing these boards up. So it's better to do what I'm doing here, cut them out and just pick all of these pins out, and you can do it cleanly and not destroy stuff. That's the way that you have to do it. It's tedious. We're getting there. You guys looking forward to a good Saturday? What's everyone's Saturday plans? Assuming that it is Saturday everywhere still. I forget that there's people that watch from all over the world. It's what time is it? Where I am right now, it is 2 p.m. 2 o'clock p.m. on Saturday. What's everybody's plans for this evening? Yeah, Sentinel. Yeah. Especially with these boards where they didn't use any solder mask on the traces. What are the plans for tonight, Sentinel? Out there in beautiful Germany. Thanks, Sony. Thanks for spending your evening here with me. I appreciate that. My dad was stationed in Germany in the United States Air Force from 1960 to 1964, and he still has a well, he passed away a couple years ago, but he had a photo album, and it had a bunch of scenic pictures from when he was in Germany, and it looked like it looked fake. It looked like a postcard or something. You know, it looked like it wasn't real. It was beautiful. Ooh, Anthony in Ireland. Nice. Yeah, I know, Sony. It's I think that Europe is, hopefully, from what I've been seeing, it's changing maybe, and they're kind of maybe gonna go back a little bit to a little less of that. I don't know. The whole world is kind of messed up right now, to be honest. Where are you at, Sony? Exactly. Where is the old world? Oh, the Netherlands. Yeah, I don't know much about the Netherlands, to be honest. Sony, I think that Arcade One Up has its place. I do. I think that normies who just want the experience and don't want the commitment of, because you know how this original hardware is and stuff. It's hard to keep it going and everything. Arcade One Up has its place for people that aren't like we are when it comes to games. I would never own one just because I respect the originality of the original hardware, the original game. I'm from that era. I remember playing the originals, and I could never settle for less than that. Making a MAME machine to me is better than Arcade One Up. But I don't shit on Arcade One Ups because people that just want to play the game, there's a place for it. But you know, for a diehard, for an arcade diehard, those fake games just will not do. You know, if you're playing Star Wars, you want to play the real Star. I'd rather play MAME Star Wars than an Arcade One Up. That being said, I think they're okay for people who want them. Why not? I'm not gonna rain on somebody's parade. If they want to play an Arcade One Up machine, go for it. Okay, so all of the pins are out. Now I just want to freshen up the solder. Make it easy to extract. And this will also fix Seneli's problem with shorting out. What I'm actually going to do, I do this with Atari boards. I'm going to change my tip to my blade tip. I'm going to put the blade tip on here and use some tacky flux and run it on here and clean this up. Anthony, you are correct. It brings young people into these games. It brings a new generation into appreciating these games, and maybe they'll get the itch to want to know about the original hardware, the original games and stuff. You never know, you know. So, all right, I got my blade tip on here, and I'm going to turn the fan on because this gets really stinky. And I'm actually going to turn my furnace fan on to circulate. Well, no, that'll be enough. I'm just going to tacky flux this. And just clean this up. Let that cool off. Now this needs to be cleaned up really good. Okay, got a big solder blob on here. This is lacquer thinner, and this gets very stinky, but this is the only way to really dissolve that flux. Is just dump some lacquer thinner on it, let it sit there. I'm actually going to have to get another container of this stuff. Now I'm going to take this and spray it with some alcohol and let it drain. And then I'm going to take this board in and wash this board, I think. Maybe. But I do need to take this outside and spray it down. Okay. After a good cleaning, this is what we're ended up with. Now just go through with the desoldering gun and clear all these out. So let me get that and get it plugged in. Yeah, Jackie, I do agree with that. That kids generally just don't get it. You know, I do. I'm not delusional to the kids. Just if it's not the latest and greatest, I have a son, and if it's not the latest and greatest, they don't care. You know, my son considers everything that came out on the original PlayStation as suck, and it is what it is. But I totally agree with you, Sony. The arcade was special. It was going, and it was a social gathering. Kids don't get that today because they're too busy. Everything's portable and everything's mobile. Where you used to actually had to go out to do stuff. You know, and the home gaming system was an Atari 2600, and to get the actual real experience, you had to go to the arcade. Yeah, Rhett, that makes sense. Makes total sense. And kids get a little older, they look at things different, so that's called maturity. Yes, Sony. Yeah, it's sad. It's sad what that kind of stuff has been. Just being a kid, being a young person in the 80s was so much better than what kids have to deal with now. And they think they got it great with all this technology and stuff. And I'm telling you, it's just, there's no personal interaction anymore and stuff. Alright, see what we can do here. Fun is not allowed. Yeah, there have always been idiots, but the idiots are amplified now. Due to social media and all that kind of stuff, it amplifies the idiocracy is the problem. By golly, I think we got it. That's a very good observation, Seneley. Yes, the dumbest people are the loudest. For sure. 100%. There we go. Now we have this good as new, super clean, ready for sockets. So I will take the blade out of my iron and put the regular tip in, and we'll solder in some sockets. Solder some sockets. Last 2 sockets. And we can populate these RAMs and see what we get. Regardless what we get, after I populate these RAMs and try this thing out, I'm going to end this stream because it's been a pretty long one. And I need to get ready because me and my girlfriend are going to a hockey game tonight. There we go. Done. Give it a little clean up. Okay. You know what I want to do is I want to get these out of here. Kind of scrape all the little solder blobs off of my mat. Okay, let's populate these RAM chips. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm missing one. Darn it. I forgot, I don't have enough RAM for this. Well, let's see what this... I want to see what it does anyway. Okay. Oh shit. Put one of the RAMs in upside down. Damn it. Well, now I need 2. More than likely. Yeah, we still got garbage on the screen. I'm missing a RAM, and I think this one is probably bad now. I'm going to put a little red dot on it because I put it in backwards. So I probably need 2 RAMs. I could put the fluke, hook the fluke back up to it and see if it tells me 4. This one's going to be 4 for sure because it's missing this RAM. This one will probably say 4 as well because I cooked this RAM. So, possibly. Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to put the fluke back up to it. And see what it tells us. I mean, if I need 1 RAM or 2 RAMs, whatever, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it sucks that I cooked one, but let me go ahead and get the fluke stuff back up. Okay, we got our fluke hooked up. Anthony, I buy these RAMs. I'll probably buy from this place called Quarter Arcade, or I'm sorry, Quarter Arcade. UnicornElectronics.com. All one word. Unicorn Electronics is a good source for really old stuff like this. So let's do a RAM short at 400 to 7FF. Okay, it's telling me 04. So that did not cook that RAM. So we got 0. It's telling me 0. And 4 is the missing RAM. So it looks like I get this 1 RAM chip installed and we'll be good to go. Yeah, I'm doing the RAM short and it says 04. I'll show you that. Zero 04. And that is because this was the lower 4 bits, or the upper 4 bits. This is the lower 4 bits. This is now saying 0, which means they're all good. And this one is saying 4. This is the 4 bit. This is the 0, or the 1s, 2s, 4s, 8s bit. So yeah, this one missing, it's going to say 4, 0, or 0, 4. So 1 RAM is all I need. So I'm going to jump on a Unicorn Electronics. And I'm going to go ahead and stop this, turn this off, turn this off and remove it. So I just need RAM, and I don't have any, so unfortunately. And remove this carefully. Be very careful with my Fluke stuff. Okay. All right. Jackie, that is the Marion Fluke board. I bought it from him on Clav a handful of years ago. Let's do this. Let's go straight to here. Unicorn Electronics. Products, static RAM. 2102 right here, $2 a piece, and I'm going to order 25 of them, $50 worth. You know what, I'm gonna go 20. I'll buy 20, $40 worth of them. That's Unicorn Electronics. So I'll go ahead and get that order done, and I'm going to add some other stuff to it as well. I'll order some other stuff as well, so that, you know, it's good to have extra stock. So I'm going to go through my stock and see what else I need. I know I need some 2114 RAM. I'll buy some of those. Just kind of stock up on some general stuff. Oh, that's pretty cool, Sonally. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. Just a lot of weird stuff like that. Weird facts like that. You made a little adapter so that you can use a 2125. That's a good idea, and that's a darn good idea. All right, yeah. Well, guys, there's nothing more I can do with this. I got to buy parts. I got to buy RAM chips for it. So I think I will thank you all for hanging out with me today. I hope you all have a excellent Saturday and an excellent weekend in general. And yeah, so Yeah, I think I'm just going to call this one. Yeah, suddenly I've never really seen 2125s go bad, to be honest. I don't think I've ever experienced a bad one. Thanks, Brett. We will. We are big fans of the OHL, the Ontario Hockey League, and we have a team here, the Flint Firebirds, and we go there almost every week, almost every weekend. So it's good fun. Yeah. All right, guys. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. And it's all good. No, it's good, Todd. Hi, Todd. All right, fellas. Y'all have a good one. And we'll see y'all later. Thanks, Anthony. We will. Bye, guys.